The phone vibrated across the counter. I thumbed answer. "We married yesterday," Tyler said, cheerful as a commercial. "Only special people were invited." A lid. I heard my daughter breathing somewhere on the line. "Wildfires," I said. "Dad," she murmured. "It was small." "Small seems to include a lot of people," I said, keeping my voice steady. Tyler chuckled. "You're very rigid. Let's not make this about you." Right below the refrigerator door was a magnet holding a note. I stared at the magnet. Memorial Day, May 27, and the ink circle I'd drawn around it last week. I kept my tone even. "Scenes are for guests. I'll keep to records." "Conquered," he said, and the call clicked off. The phone buzzed again, a new banner sliding up over the dead black screen. "Missed call, Marcus Lee." The tiny speaker hissed as his voicemail started. I didn't press play. I just watched the seconds count on the lock screen, breathing through it. Time I mallet. They're in the show. They are New Day, detected. They are started in 2020-26. They are fast. They are falm in the last transition. Cloud them. They are stating bad into our pain fire. Frust 2 minutes. That my power on portensis, he definitely paying our last. They do not toad people. There are new answer that is coming fresh. They are grun and jested state. In Sinton on the world fire. Their fangs red against is fresh whether I called in the previous living who is still helidated to bend. But it's still a gun, deal to success, weigh his heart, and more than boning him of the four. The phone worked again, is not least. It's one thing I didn't hourful. I did not seen the abitafit model that get the digness and new, and that county redigancy, belowing model, are redigancy, and done. Definitely were walked to my. They rolled the back in someone of the shows, on that now, in scenes on working. Tyler, on the ways from a model. I spawned that set that corporate-y attacking there was a fourth and the least two were. And a take. Proud you found someone. Tyler. Then stop trying to be command. Enraged. I retired from command, not from truth. I set the phone face down and picked it up immediately. Old habit. A moment later, the voicemail from Marcus flashed a transcript preview. "You okay, Colonel? Call me. We have your 6. I didn't listen. Not yet. I didn't want comfort to pull me off course. I carried my mug to the fridge. The Vets Hall flyer looked back in bold blue. Honor Guard rehearsal in Memorial Day service, May 27. My circle around the date had the kind of pressure that dents paper. I pressed the coin against the circle until the paper gave a little more. Then I let the coin drop back into my pocket. I sat at the kitchen table and opened Facebook. The banner at the top of Amanda's page was balloons and gold confetti. Married. The album thumbnail showed a chapel washed in afternoon light. A row of faces turned toward an unseen aisle. When I tapped the square, the screen met me with a neat gray lock. Only friends can view this content. Another thumbnail popped up, courtesy of one of her college friends. Smiling bridesmaids, a white dress, Tyler's parents, cousins, people from the church. Everyone but me. I clicked see photos and another lock shrugged me off. Privacy settings, that was their right. But the captions under the thumbnails were public enough. Perfect day, family only, so intimate. Each had a date stamp. I took a breath. No screenshots, not yet, not today. Flooded phone lit again with Tyler. Tyler, if you really love her, don't make this messy. Ragas, then stop mopping the truth. Amanda, please, Dad. Rick, when you're ready to talk like adults, I'm here. Fiberglass app once more, added 3 words to the morning entry. Calm maintained, documented, stabilized. I flicked to the voicemail list and hovered over Marcus's name. The play triangle pulsed. I set the phone down without touching it. That would be for later. After my hands stopped remembering the grip of the receiver, I reopened Facebook and watched the album grid reassemble. The locks held, the captions didn't. Somewhere behind those squares there would be a full guest list and a smile I didn't recognize anymore. I stared until the screen dimmed. I tapped the phone awake and created one more folder on the home screen. On the record. I dragged the Notes app into it. The icons snapped into place. From the hallway, the clock in my study ticked like a metronome I'd set for someone else. I let it count, then I refreshed the page and saw the grid again, with that same gray lock, neat as a smirk. I didn't press Marcus's voicemail. Not yet. I clicked the album thumbnail one more time and watched the lock refuse to move. The printer coughed, took a breath and spat another page. Faces tiled across my desk. White dress, chapel light, the careful joy of people who believed they were telling the whole truth. I slid the receipt from the register under the stack and stapled it once in the top corner. One clean click. I wrote the source URLs along the margins in block letters, the way I'd label a map before a briefing. The phone trembled. A text from Amanda. Please don't start drama. Discharged. If truth is drama, we need better actors, and let it sit. I deleted the second half of what I wanted to say. The evening air felt mechanical by the mailboxes, a steady hum from the laundry room vent next door. Joy Park crossed with her keys and a bundle of flyers. You all right, Colonel? She asked, opening a box with a metal clack. Printer jam, I said. Thing got over it faster than I did. She smiled. Saw your porch light late last night. Need anything? I need a better idea of who was at a party I wasn't invited to. To the papers in my hand, then back to my face. Neutral. My porch cam's been catching the sidewalk pretty clear lately, she said like she was commenting on the weather. If you ever needed a timestamp, not that I'm saying you do. Good to know. I let that sit too. Back at the desk, the stack waited, squared on the blotter like a block of quiet. Paper doesn't love you back, but it won't lie. I took a breath and tapped my challenge coin against the hole-punched edge, 3 soft knocks, then snapped the binder rings closed over the prints. Amanda again. Dad, please, you'll make it worse. Rick, proud of you. Not proud of lies. Amanda, you're making this about you. Rick, no, I'm making it about dates and names. My cursor hovered over Save as PDF for the church bulletin. I didn't download the file. I screenshotted the homepage instead, big black letters, Sunday, May 5th, and dropped it into the same folder as the photos. The date wasn't proof of anything yet. It was a drumbeat, and I wanted to know its pace. Take. A banner slid down from the top of my phone, Pastor Elena. Let's talk Wednesday. I stared at the message, then at the prints. The chapel light on the page made strangers' smiles glow like they belonged to me, which they didn't. I slid the stapled stack into a plastic sleeve and pressed my hand flat against the slick surface to push the air out. I wish Amanda had pressed a hand on my shoulder like that once on that day. I picked up the coin, felt the worn nick along its edge, and put it back in my pocket before my fingers could get sentimental. The dryer vent thumped once. Somewhere down the block, a car door clicked shut. I sent one more text. Rick, we can talk like adults Wednesday too. Reply, the sleeve clouded for a second where my breath hit it and cleared. A second banner, Pastor Elena, 2 p.m., works? Line back, 2 p.m. works, thank you. The phone screen dimmed, and in the black glass, my face looked older than I felt. I touched the corner of the sleeve. The staple caught the light. The vet's hall smelled like old wood and lemon oil. Pool balls cracked in the corner, and the TV over the bar hummed through a baseball pregame. I pushed through the door in a clean polo, nodded at familiar faces, and took a stool. Dalton, a corporal with a scar through his eyebrow, called, Why'd you skip your girl's big day? Safeguard caught her light as bottle glass. I kept my shoulders square. Wasn't invited. Deji said, Family only, right? I set my challenge coin on the bar mat, just enough tap to make it sing. If you've got questions, I'll answer on the record. Disillusion slid in on my left. On the record, huh? Records don't argue, I said. They stand. the lean from a table, phone in hand. Is this it? For half a second, the screen showed a white dress and a row of happy faces, and then she seemed to think better of it and tilted the phone away. Looks small, pretty. Murk, the pool balls cracked again. Heat climbed the back of my neck. I kept my voice in the lower register. Small included everyone but me, I said. Marcus's eyes narrowed. You sure? I reached into my pocket, tapped the coin once, and nodded. Dates, names, you want the list? I'm building one. He lifted his chin, half salute, half question. If this gets formal, then it gets formal, I finished, and I'll keep my temper where it belongs. A club soda. The glass rang on the mat like a bell. Across the room, someone tried a baritone line of taps and broke off mid-note. We all smiled at the miss, then the room settled. Rick, a sergeant said carefully, people are saying you weren't up to it. People say a lot when they need a story, I answered. When the clerk calls my name, I'll bring facts. Until then, I'll spare you speeches. Marcus put a hand over his heart, not joking. If you need a statement, say so. Flushing, I said. Front row, anyway. Microscopic. Clean shave? Don't overdo it. I finished the soda, palmed the coin, and stood. The TV burbled into a commercial about summer savings. As I passed the doorway, I heard a whisper. Maybe he's sick. I let it pass. I'd fought ghosts before. These ones wore perfume and cologne. Outside, the afternoon light hit hard and honest. My phone buzzed, Tyler on the caller ID. I considered letting it go to voicemail and decided to give him one clean line. Tyler? You're at that little view love, Amanda? Stop making scenes. Scenes are for guests, I said. Records are for adults. He laughed, a single note. You'll tire out, old man. We'll see who needs a chair when the clerk calls my name. Keep dreaming, he said, and hung up. Breaking later, the phone rang again. Unknown caller. I didn't answer. It kicked to voicemail with the lazy beep of a machine that's heard too many stories. I waited until the banner popped, tapped into the list, and pressed save. The timestamp glowed across the top of the screen. I scrolled to the waveform, saw the little hills of sound, and named the file voicemail _ 2024-05-04 _ 16-18. I dropped it into wedding -record and backed out. Hull heart beating steady, I drove home with the windows cracked. At the kitchen table, I set the coin atop a manila folder labeled On the Record and pinned the Vets Hall flyer to the corkboard beside an empty docket card sleeve. Space waiting for a date. My phone buzzed again, a text from Amanda. Amanda, Dad, please, don't drag the hall into this. Bathrooms. I'm not dragging anyone. I'm standing where I've stood for 30 years with people who respect a record. Crimson 3 dots came and went. I didn't chase them. I opened the voicemail again, watched the waveform wiggle through a half second of silence, then tapped info. 4:18 p.m., clean as a drumbeat on parade. Take respect isn't given back, it's documented till it stands. Marcus sent a single line. If you need a statement, say so. I typed soon and left it on the edge of send. The unknown caller entry still sat at the top of the list. No name, no photo, just the gray circle and the time. I pressed save one more time to make sure the file stuck, and a small icon blinked confirmation. I locked the phone and set it face down on the folder. The coins shone against the cardboard like a minor sun. In the quiet, the house ticked once. The voicemail list glowed behind glass I couldn't see through. Somewhere in there, a laugh waited to be matched to a throat. I didn't press play. I saved the number, and the caller ID stayed stubbornly blank. Pastor Elena met me in the church anteroom with a paper cup of water and the look people wear when they wish a mess could clean itself. I saw the posts, she said. You weren't invited? Correct, I said. And the bulletin said I was too ill to attend. Runeck, her mouth pulled tight. That line came from Amanda, I'm sorry. If asked, I said, will you say exactly that? Yes, she folded her hands. Rick, I want peace, but not at the expense of truth. Peace only holds if truth carries weight. She nodded once, decisive. We walked out to the foyer. A woman I didn't know angled toward us with the smile people practice for hospital rooms. Colonel, so sorry you were too ill to attend, she cooed. I let the breath leave slowly. I wasn't ill. I wasn't invited. Oh, she said, as if the word had edges. Her eyes skittered to Pastor Elena. We only want what's best for the family. I answered. That starts with saying what actually happened. She retreated toward the bulletin board, pretending to read. The thumbtack squeaked as she adjusted the Sunday card, May 5th. Outside, the evening air felt like it had been ironed flat. I'd rather hold my girl than receipts, but only one holds up under a stamp. Take back home, I set my phone on the desk, slid my challenge coin into the evidence pouch alongside a thumb drive, and opened the message threads. Dea, weeks ago. Tyler's startup could use a nudge. You always said invest in family. Me, send terms. Legalize later. We took it as a no. Also, we told folks you were under the weather. Keeps it simple. Tonight's text sat at the top. Please stop dragging people into this. Rick, you made it public when you lied in print. Amanda, you're making it worse. Rick, I'm making it accurate. In the drive, the cursor blinked like a metronome. Umbled montage. Less slash relines. I selected full message threads, hit print to PDF, and watched the file header timestamp populate, named each file with date ranges, saved to a folder labeled On the Record /text threads. I opened the first PDF. The header showed today's date and time. Clean. I scrolled, checking for ellipses that might imply cherry picking. None. The story was ugly but intact. Taya, the phone lit again. Tyler. Tyler. You are not sending our private texts around, old man. That's weird. Weird to false. Tyler. You'll look petty. Rick. I'll look punctual. He left it there. I didn't. Purge a one-sentence memo to myself at the top of the folder. Pastor confirms bulletin source equals Amanda. If asked, she'll say it. I didn't ask Pastor for anything in writing. Not yet. She'd already taken a risk by telling the truth out loud. At my desk, the framed photo of my unit sat in a square of lamplight. The glass caught my reflection. Hair thinner at the temples, jaw set. I looked like a man explaining gravity to people who preferred helium. The phone buzzed with a new voicemail, the icon shaped like a tiny reel-to-reel. Joy Park. Yeah. Her voice spilled into the room with a low hiss of a cheap microphone. Hey, Colonel. It's Joy. My porch cam overlaps your steps if you need it. A beat. Folks sometimes forget sidewalks carry sound. Let me know. My brother said us, physic. Mashed. I exported. I didn't hit save yet. I just listened again to the last line and the way she said sound, like a reminder that truth isn't only a picture. I closed the PDFs and rolled my chair back. Amanda. Can you please not involve church? Rick. Church involved itself when it printed a lie. I'm correcting the record. Apply. I scrolled to the top of the export window and read the timestamp one more time, steady as a drum. Wednesday, May 7, 5:42 p.m. Amber. I clicked the folder closed, slid the challenge coin deeper into the pouch, and let the zipper's teeth meet all the way across. Quiet isn't surrender. Sometimes it's just the sound of a seal. The receipt printer chirped like a bird that only knew one note. I stood at the counter with a stack of glossy pages, bridesmaids in blush, Tyler's parents, cousins, pews full of smiles, faces that arranged themselves into a story without me. The clerk slid the receipt across. Want a bag? No, I said, I want corners. Source URLs along the bottom margins in block letters, then the capture time up the side. People don't label like that unless it matters. It matters, I said. I cleared the kitchen table. 3 deep breaths. I laid out tabs, sleeves, a Sharpie, and a blank first page. Baptized never forgets who touched it. I set the challenge coin on the table's edge like a paperweight and started speaking into my phone's memo as I worked. Binder 1, Wedding Truth. Section 1, Photos, Source, Captions, Capture Times. Section 2, Church Bulletin, Date and Placement. Section 3, Message Index. Unleash the church bulletin clipping into a clear sleeve, face up, and press the plastic flat with my palm until the bubbles ran out. The date stamp sat neat and dark in the corner. Sun, May 5. I looked at it long enough to fix the font in my head. Amanda, You're making files? Over pictures? So we don't make scenes. This is petty, Tay. It's precise. The binder rings opened with a metallic sigh. I tapped the coin once against the cover and dropped the sleeve into the first position. The sound was small but final. I built an evidence index as an eye-level page, short, square handwriting, the way we'd label a rack of gear. Photos, Facebook captures, source noted. Bulletin, May 5 date stamp, placement noted. Message index, thread list only, full log separate. The air conditioner kicked on. A thin line of cool air rolled across my wrists. Somewhere outside, a car door clapped shut. My phone buzzed on the table, skittering an inch. Tyler, nobody needs a dossier, Colonel. Rick, only liars hate indexes. I flipped the photos slowly, letting my fingers learn the orders so I could find them without thinking. Bridesmaid with a rose tattoo. Tyler's father's hand on his shoulder. A cousin I barely recognized. Each image made a small part of my jaw set. Conspicuous coin sat on the binder's cover, a round piece of quiet. Amanda, Mom would hate this. Rick, Mom loved truth told plainly. ... Gone. Implanted, the stove clock clicked to the next minute. I slid the finished index into its sleeve and snapped the ring shut. The motion steadied my breath. Phone again, Tyler. Combating, delete the recordings and we'll clarify the clip. I stared at the words, then at the May 5th stamp, and back to the words. Presidential. Rick, put your clarification under oath. Kosher. The message sat there like a fish that wouldn't blink. I set the phone face down and laid my palm over the binder's cover. The coin pressed a small circle into my skin. I didn't move it. They brought lasagna and the contract in the same casserole pan, foil over both. We've got the paperwork, Tyler said, sliding the folder onto my dining table like it was dessert. Founder's round closes fast. Amanda took my hand. Thing, Dad. You always told me to back my unit. I opened the folder, paragraphs in cheerful serif font, then a clause with no ceiling and no date certain. Repayment as determined by managing partner, I read. That would be you. Professionalism. It's standard. You'd be grandfathered into leadership. Grandfathered is a noun, not a lever, I said and set the folder down. The memory left a taste like metal. Back in the present, I pulled the challenge coin from my pocket and laid it across the signature line. The coin covered the space where my name was supposed to go. The room quieted the way rooms do when a decision is already made. They didn't bring dinner, they brought a leash. I took the folder to the copier. The first pass caught a corner shadow. I realigned, pressed the lid harder, and ran it again. Clean page. I wrote today's date in the lower right margin and circled the vague clause with a neat single stroke. Flashlight snapped again, shorter this time. Invest in family, Amanda said, soft, eyes bright. Family isn't a subscription, I answered. She had flinched then, Tyler had not. On my phone, a message preview from Amanda slid down, just the word, please, and disappeared when I didn't touch it. Drew up the copy and held it by the edges like a photograph you don't smudge. The language stared back at me, friendly and open-ended in all the wrong places. I slid the original back into their folder, shut it, and set my copy aside on a clean stack. Taya walked next door at dusk, the heat finally stepping off the sidewalks. Joy Park stood on her porch with a mason jar of iced tea and a cautious smile. You said the camera hears the sidewalk, I said. It does, she answered, and thumbed her phone awake. I don't have a file for you, but listen. Tyler's voice, bright with patience, sharpened to a point. Come on, Colonel. It's a signature, not a surrender. A beat, then my voice, low. If it were fair, it wouldn't need pressure. Joy stopped the clip. Angles clean at twilight, she said. Mic picks up better than the porch light. How far back do the archives go? Orage. She lifted her chin toward my house. Clock runs. I'll back it up tonight, I said. Thank you. Be good at two things, she said. Borrowing sugar and telling the truth. Abandonment with the cicadas, the air the color of old brass. I shook her hand and went home. Tie at the table, I opened binder 2 and slid the dated photocopy into a fresh sleeve. Clean, legible, the circled clause sat like a bruise that finally had a name. My phone buzzed. Clink about this. Tyler just wants you included. Rick, inclusion isn't control. Tyler jumped in. You're making us look like predators. Rick, contracts do that all by themselves. Misunderstand. The sticky note on my desk stared back. Joy-Cam auto overwrites in 7 days. Back up tonight. I set an alarm, then picked up the coin and pressed its edge gently into the circled clause until the paper dimpled. I didn't tear it. The copier whined again. Habit made me run a spare. Halfway through, the screen flashed a yellow droplet. Low ink. I canceled the job and killed the power. A seal is better than a smear. Calendar and tapped in an appointment. Notary, Monday, 10:30 a.m. The alert chimed and set itself. Tia gathered the folder and the binder and stacked them so the edges lined up. The coin went back into my pocket. The room held the sound of a plan. The UPS bell chimed like a small brass coin tapping glass. I set the envelope on the counter and placed my challenge coin beside it while I took out my ID. State your name, the notary said. Richard Dalton. We went through the ritual. Oath, signature, stamp. The seal pressed down with a quiet thump that felt a lot like commitment. The clerk slid over a roll of stickers. Certified items get scanned twice today, she said. Once now, once before pickup. Qual care, I said. She tore a label with a sticky rip. Keep your receipt safe. I'm counting on it. Positioned 2 envelopes, spoke their destinations under my breath, then pressed the green button. The printer spit the certified mail strip. I didn't read any numbers. I just watched the word certified appear and stick like a verdict. Tied at the coin next to the envelopes, touched each corner back into square, and pocketed the coin again. Outside, Marcus was sitting on the bench under the shade, posture straight as if someone might grate it. You look busy, he said. Busy beats noisy. He nodded at the envelopes. If the full cut of that porch video shows what you say, I'll stand. It shows worse, I said, and watched a delivery truck nose around the corner. Front row? He said, mock grim, don't make me iron it twice. Come as you are, I said. Just tell the truth. We sat for a minute, the bench humming faintly as trucks rolled past. The day had that washed-out look that makes shadows honest. My phone buzzed. Amanda, please stop mailing things to our house. Rick, please stop making me. No dots. I let the screen go dark. At the church office, Pastor Elena had her day planner open, a page tabbed with 3 colors. I'll run a correction next Sunday, she said, pen already poised, my name on it. Truth deserves a byline, I said. She wrote slowly, clearly, as if legibility were a moral act. Correction runs Sun May 19 went onto a sticky note that she pressed to the corner of her desk calendar. Tostigeners pushed a bulletin cart past the doorway. One looked in and looked away too quickly. The wheel squeaked down the hall. People will be kind to your face and cruel in the comments, Pastor said. Undermine for kindness, I said, just accuracy. Then we're aligned. Blames. Back outside, Marcus had moved to stand by the flagpole, checking his phone like it owed him money. You get your church papers squared? Mine correction scheduled, I said. Feels like a rise, he said. Billy then expect a jab. He squinted. From who? Pressured trying that, I said, and the corner of his mouth ticked. On my way to the truck, my phone buzzed again. Phased it. End it, Rick, you look obsessed. Tyler, Rick. I'm organized. Tyler, this is harassment. Rick, it's notice. I turned the phone face down on the seat and drove home the long way, past the park where kids were drilling a marching line without knowing it. Left feet off, giggles, wrecking cadence. It made me smile despite myself. At the kitchen table, I opened binder number 1 and tucked the certified mail receipt strip inside the front sleeve. 1.Q only. Enough to tell a clerk that I had sent what I said I'd sent. I don't need vengeance. I need the record to stand. I set the coin on the notary envelope for a beat, then slid it back into my pocket and exhaled. The house clicked softly, like it approved of square edges. The phone chimed with a new email. Subject line only, Adult Protective Services. Intake acknowledgement. I opened it and read the first sentence. At a concern regarding your well-being. I let the screen glow on the kitchen table, the words lighting the underside of my hand. The coin was heavy against my thigh. I didn't reply. I let the email sit there and make the room smaller. Marcus read the one-page statement once more, lips moving without sound, then signed with a neat slant that made the letters look like they meant it. Date it, I said. He did, then flattened the paper with his palm. I set my challenge coin on the corner and took a quick photo for my log, coin edge catching the light. The office copier hummed in the background like a calm engine. It isn't pride, I said. It's proof I can hold. Door squeaked. A younger vet leaned in. Sir, Facebook says you declined politely. That true? No, I said. I wasn't invited. Sliding. People say a lot, Marcus cut in. He's got receipts. Quotations nodded, not convinced, not brave enough to argue. I'll see what's actually posted. The door clicked shut. Get the pastor's piece next. Peter's a choir. It sings better together. I pocketed the coin and the signed sheet, then crossed town to the church. Pastor Elena had her study door open and her laptop awake. I drafted the correction, she said, turning the screen toward me. Short and specific. We read it together, 2 lines. Last week's bulletin incorrectly stated that Colonel Richard Dalton declined to attend his daughter's wedding. He was not invited. Reverend Elena Ruiz, no garnish, no sermon. Neutrality is an accuracy, I said. Position from the pulpit and I'll lose half the room, she said, smiling without humor. But it's true. A congregant drifted by the study door and pretended to browse the shelf. Pastor nudged the door until the latch kissed home. The copier in the hall started up, papers shuffling like distant rain. Let's make a PDF, she said. Montage. She clicked print to PDF. The file window stamped a header timestamp. She typed a clear file name and saved it. I forwarded the preview to myself and watched the header glow once on my phone. Amanda chimed the group text a minute later. Pastor, please stay neutral. Rick, neutrality is an accuracy. Apologized. My correction is factual. No dots from Amanda. Silence does a kind of harm. Clang with the quiet for a few beats. They'll pressure you, I said. They already did, she answered. Truth doesn't reconsider. Back at my kitchen table, I wrote witness list at the top of a yellow legal sheet. Marcus Lee, present. Reverend Elena Ruiz, correction queued. Joy Park, porch cam angle available. I set the list under a magnet and drew the next tick mark on the whiteboard. D25 becoming D24 toward June 12th. Shapiro buzzed. Marcus. Heads up, got a DM from a burner. Veterans shouldn't meddle. Rick. Screenshot? Marcus. Rather not feed it, just know they're fishing. I stared at the message until the letters turned from threat to weather. Still there. Still petty. Still noise that steals time if you let it. It isn't pride, it's proof I can hold without shaking. Amanda again in the group thread. Dad, why are you dragging church into this? Rick, church dragged itself in when it printed a lie. We're correcting it. Legalize. No reply. Prescribed pastor's PDF preview one more time and let my eyes fix on the header timestamp like it was a compass. It steadied me in a way that felt almost like prayer. In the Vets Hall office photo, the coin gleamed on Marcus's signature. A small, round morning sun. I slid the coin back into my pocket and checked the whiteboard. D24 looked honest. It also looked close. The phone buzzed again. Forward from Marcus. A line of text with no avatar, no name. Veterans shouldn't meddle. I saved the number under burner DM01 and didn't answer. Not yet. The phone on a small tripod opened the security app and pulled up the porch feed from the night Tyler came to needle me. I didn't scrub or clip. I exported. Tobin Eeks 3 lines. The file name populated, I printed a single-page checksum, read it aloud for my memo, and slid the sheet under the keyboard. A thumb drive took the copy. I labeled it with a strip of tape and my initials. The UPS bell chimed like a metronome starting a march. The notary peered over her glasses. State your file name and what this affidavit certifies. Legalize. Porch 2024 0501 19-42-10.mp4. This certifies the export is complete and unaltered from the original device. Schutz pressed the stamp down. The seal rose on the paper. Clean circle, no smudge. Key anything else? She asked. 2 certified envelopes, I said. 1 to the city hall clerk, 1 to myself. Good chain, she said. On the sidewalk, the day had the bright, unforgiving look of late May. My phone buzzed. Irreversible. Delete it. I'll clarify the clip. Rick. Clarify it under oath. Undertake typing. I drove to Joy's porch, coin in my pocket warming against the denim. She stepped out as the porch light ticked on, a halo that didn't reach the sidewalk. You ready? She said. Ready. She lifted her phone. Check, check. The mic caught her voice in the cicadas like static under a song. She angled the camera across my steps. My clock runs a little fast, 30-something seconds. We can match your angle by the dog bark in the middle. I've got a truck door slam at 19 minutes, I said. That should pin it. At 2 corners, Joy said. Just remember, my free plan overwrites a week at a time. I backed it up today, I said. Thank you. Neighbors should tell each other the truth, she said. That used to be standard. Reseber, I smiled, brief and real. Still is on this block. Back home, I slid the affidavit onto the kitchen table and set the challenge coin on it for a second. Metal on paper, weight on promise. Then I tucked the coin away and took the photo I needed for my log. No codes, no numbers, just the seal visible and the title line square. I sealed 2 envelopes and dropped them into the outgoing at the UPS counter. The clerk said, "You'll get a scan receipt email." Concord hone chimed as I stepped away. City clerk. Auto reply. Docs received May 24, 4:42 p.m. The banner folded into the inbox like a flag snapping into its bracket. Chronological doesn't have to be loud, just verified. Quotations on a yellow sticky, and broke down the sequence in short lines. Northeastern, Joy. Rister's, truck door, mine. Old man first at 221 mine, at porch light flicker Joy. Outburst at end, 20 minutes of needling. I didn't need the sticky, not really. But writing it let the air out of the tension. My phone vibrated again. APS, pre-hearing phone interview next week. Please confirm availability. I confirmed 2 slots and set an alarm. Then I stared at the kitchen wall until the white paint looked like a map I could memorize. Amanda, Dad, stop. We're trying to live our lives. So am I. I'm trying to live them honestly. Prosecute. The house ply. The house clicked once in the AC vents. Show 'em Joy texted a final line. If they pressure me, I'll still show, but heads up, they might try. Rick. Thank you. I'll keep the heat off you as long as I can. The record will have to carry the rest. Submerge the affidavit into binder number 2, coin back to pocket. The table held the silence the way a parade ground holds boot steps after the band is passed. The inbox banner still sat there. Docs received May 24, 4:42 p.m. I let it burn into my eyes, not because I doubted it, but because I wanted to remember what certainty looked like. Memorial Day morning, the kitchen smelled like coffee and brass polish. I set the challenge coin on the calendar square and circled June 12th, 10 a.m., hard enough to ghost the paper beneath. I left the coin sitting there like a promise I could touch. City Hall's lobby hummed. A wall monitor chimed and flashed. Petition review calendar. Next available, mid-June. A woman in a red blazer shuffled forms to the rhythm of the printer. Records, I told the clerk at the window. I filed a petition review packet looking for acknowledgement. Scotter screen. You're complete. She penciled neat figures on a card, stamped the corner. June 12th, 10 a.m., petition review, bring ID, no food, no signs. I said. If anything changes, we'll stamp it, she added, sliding the card to me. But that's your time. I took the docket pre-acceptance card and let the stamp wink once in the light. No numbers allowed. Just the time written in a hand I could picture later on a bench. A pocket buzzed. Marcus. Verification call? I'll pick up. I texted back a thumbs up and felt the phone settle like a tool in a kit. The APS investigator called on schedule. Mr. Dalton, I'm recording, she said. Confirm date of birth. I did. Describe your typical morning. Wake at 0600. Medication at 0615. 2 vitamins, no prescriptions. Walk at 0630. Coffee at 0700. Binder work after that. You handle your finances? Yes, online two-factor. I keep a ledger on paper, signed weekly. Recent episodes of confusion? Just other people's, I said and let it land with a smile on my voice. A pause. Then, tell me about the incident on your porch. My son-in-law spoke to me for 20 minutes with the aim of provoking an outburst. I lost my temper at the end. I have the full video exported and notarized. A neighbor's porch mic captured overlap. The edited clip circulating is not representative. Demolished will note that. Her tone was neutral. The pen sounded busy. We'll be calling 2 references. Marcus Lee, Pastor Elena Ruiz. They're expecting you. 1 minute later, my phone double buzzed. Marcus. Answered, said what I saw. Pastor, call complete. My shoulders dropped a half inch. The group thread lit up. Amanda, please pray for my father. He's unwell and escalating. Tyler, we're concerned for his stability. Rick, pray for honesty. The dots pulsed, then died. The investigator continued. Are there firearms in the home? No. Any falls in the last 6 months? No. She closed with scheduling. Pre-hearing interview complete. We'll follow up only if needed. They call me unstable, I said after we thanked each other, and I sound steadier than the dial tone. She chuckled once, caught herself, and hung up. I carried the docket card to the kitchen and propped it against the calendar square. The circle I'd drawn at dawn framed the penciled time like a sight picture. The coin stayed on the date, a weight that turned paper into something closer to steel. At lunch, Amanda pushed the edited clip again to a group of church friends. I didn't open it. I heard it arrive in the chat by the way my phone purred across the table. Marcus texted a selfie in a too-tight tie. Verification complete. I like your calendar square. Looks mean. Rick, it is. Marcus, then hold it. By late afternoon, the air felt like stored heat coming due. A second APS email hit. Intake window closes May 29, day 10. I read the banner and wrote, day 10, May 29 on a sticky, stuck it beside the calendar, then crossed out day 9 for tomorrow in pencil. The rhythm helped. Stepped onto the porch and let the cicadas lay down their electric rug. Across the street, a neighbor pretended to study a shrub and then met my eyes. He lifted his chin once, awkward, like a man returning a salute without training. Inside, I laid the docket card flat and took a single photo for my log, stamp visible. June 12, 10 a.m., penciled. 1Q, enough. The group thread pinged again. Someone had re-uploaded the edited clip from a burner account. Same crop, same lie. I didn't tap play. I tapped report and flagged the account for trace. If it tied back to Tyler, it would be a neat thread to pull under oath. I left the coin on the square when I turned the kitchen light off. It caught the last of the day and gave it back in a dull edge. I lined up fresh tab dividers on the desk like a squatted inspection and read each one into my phone's memo so I wouldn't overtalk when it mattered. Exhibit 1, Facebook prints. Exhibit 2, text thread PDFs. Exhibit 3, Bulletin May 5. Exhibit 4, Certified Mail Strip. Exhibit 5, Contract Copy. Exhibit 6, Export Affidavit. Exhibit 7. I left the last one blank for a beat, then set it. APS. Redish challenge coin lay under my palm, cool until the warmth of my hand claimed it. I pressed it into the binder spine like a rivet and listened to the soft rasp of cardboard taking shape. A buzz against the binder. Marcus, dates win. Rick, copy. Ming. I breathed once, slow. Each divider feels like armor sliding into place. The phone rang. Adult Protective Services, a calm voice said. This is Investigator Hayes. Are you in a place you can talk? I am. I'm recording for accuracy. Please confirm your full name and today's date. Richard Dalton, May 29th. Walk me through your day yesterday. Waking, meals, any visitors. Up at 0600, coffee at 0700, binder work mid-morning, lunch at 1200, post office at 1400, no visitors scheduled. Do you ever lose track of dates? Deflect. I don't lose track. I circle them. A pause. Pen on paper. Understood. I'm going to ask about the video clip circulating. The edited clip omits 20 minutes of needling. I have the full export notarized and a neighbor's porch mic captured overlap. Both angles are time-matched by ambient events. Have you raised your voice to family members recently? Yes, once. After sustained provocation. I'm not proud of it. I'm not hiding it. In home? Photographed in your medications? 2 vitamins. Tom, since who manages payasses? I do. Online, I keep a weekly signed paper ledger. Last cognitive screen with your primary care. Annual physical in March, normal. She let the silence sit for a second, then, I appreciate your precision. We're moving your case to full review. You'll receive confirmation. Fused you, I said. I keep records for a reason. Anything you'd like to add? Yes. Gossip isn't evidence. I've provided evidence. Another pause. Node. The house answered with one small click from the AC vent like approval. A new banner pulsed at the top of the screen. Hearing confirmed, June 12th, 10 a.m., and settled into the inbox. I let the glow rest on my knuckles a moment before I clicked save and printed a clean call log to slide behind Exhibit 7. I didn't zoom on codes, I didn't need to. The point was the spine holding the pages without complaint. The text thread pinged. We filed a protective addendum. It's to help you, Dad. Truth already helps me. APS takes these things seriously. Maybe they'll give you a rest. Protective for whom? I said to the room, not loud as I pressed a new tab down. The edge of it nicked my fingertip and left the faintest blush in the paper. I wiped my hand on a cloth and kept going. The investigator called back once more for a detail about my morning walks. Route, distance? Miss under blocks, 2 laps, 7 days a week unless it's lightning, I said. Noted. We'll be watching patterns, not single incidents. Patterns suit me, I said. I placed the APS call log behind the tab and smoothed the sleeve, air bubbling out to the corners. The coin sat heavy in the binder's spine, a weight I didn't remove. My email chimed again. City Hall CC'd the same confirmation to a generic account. I let it sit. 1 Q per chapter is a good discipline. I took a pen and on the inside cover wrote a single line. Exhibit 7 equals APS. Contacts, logs, confirmations. Motivational, again. Please stop. You're embarrassing me. Swamp. Accuracy embarrasses lies, not people. No dots, no answer. I closed the binder to test the fit. The spine swallowed the tabs neatly, only the tiniest drift at the top, where Exhibit 7 waited for more. The moment I lifted my hand, one tab slipped half an inch and revealed the label, Exhibit 7, APS. I pressed it back into line, but the camera of my mind kept the image anyway. I left the binder open on the desk. The coin compressed into its back like a permanent setting, and took one last look at the screen where hearing confirmed, June 12th, 10 a.m., still sat in the banner. Perpetrated, I turned off the desk lamp and let the room hold the shape of the pages. The doorbell thudded once, the sound that says the carrier has already walked away. I opened the door to a heavy manila envelope with my name block printed on a windowed label. Heat came off the step like a hand. Closets buzzed. Joy. Big envelope at your door. If APS drops by unannounced, I can stand on the sidewalk. Deposited. Appreciated. Clang. Text me one word. Front, I'll come. Microwave. Front, if needed. Thank you. Fused the flap carefully. A red post office stamp shouted, Received, May 31 p.m. across the inner fold. I let myself look at it once, clean, then set the envelope on the kitchen table. Palate can bruise, this one lands on bone. Inside. Notice of petition review. Bold header, paragraph blocks, the line that hit like a baton. Home visit may occur without further notice. The hearing line sat lower on the page, Wednesday, June 12, 10 a.m., a date I already had circled hard enough to dent wood. Amanda chimed the thread before I could breathe. Amanda. Dad, we asked APS to make sure you're okay. It's protected. Inric, protection isn't a leash with my name on it. Tyler, you're spiraling. Let them help. I flattened the notice with both palms and called investigator Hayes. Hayes? I received a notice. I want to confirm authenticity. Name and address? I gave them. Paper rustled on her end. Yes, Mr. Dalton, that's our standard language. We don't schedule most home visits in advance so we can observe normal routines. Understood, I said. I'm available. I prefer you see normal without the word surprise attached. I hear you, she said. No promises on timing. Keep your calendar open. I already did. She paused. Anything else? Yes. The report that triggered this is false. I'll prove that on the record. We'll evaluate all materials, she said, neutral again. Thank you. I hung up and stared at the paragraph that wanted my house to be a stage. The AC clicked on. A cool ribbon of air ran over the paper and lifted the top corner like it was trying to stand. Pace, Amanda pinged again. Amanda, please don't be difficult about a visit. Rick, I'm not. I'm ready. Tyler, then stop collecting binders. It looks unwell. Rick, looking organized beats looking dishonest. I took the challenge coin from my pocket and pressed its edge lightly along the notice's margin, one slow line, then slid the sheet under Exhibit 7, APS. The sleeve made that small sealing sound that always settles my pulse. I made a clean copy on my home printer, checked it for shadows, and placed the original behind it. The envelope with the received May 31 p.m. stamp went into the same section, flap out, so the red mark faced up like a lighthouse. My phone buzzed again. Marcus, want me nearby this week? Rick, if they come, I'll text front. Don't uproot your life for my porch. Beaches, I owe you a few porches. Spite the heat in my chest, Hay typed a one-line memo for myself at the top of Exhibit 7, notice received May 31 p.m. Authenticity confirmed by Hayes. Home visit may occur without notice. No extra codes, no flourish, just the spine doing its job. The group thread lit one more time. Tyler, you can make this easy or hard. I make it accurate. I carried the binder to the desk and eased it open so the tabs fanned like ribs. I slid the new sleeve into place and felt the teeth of the rings close. The top edge of the notice peered over the plastic by a hair, which I smoothed down with one fingertip. On the table, the envelope flap stared up. Received. May 31 p.m. Red ink with the confidence of a stamp that never apologizes. Escalating act on the table for one last look. Eye level. The line bold as a dare. Home visit may occur without further notice. He room go quiet around it. Eat into something sharp. I walked the block with the binder weight still in my shoulders, phone buzzing in my pocket like a wasp with a schedule. A neighbor lifted his screen to scan the HOA page. City Hall update, he said, mostly to himself. Seating first come, overflow room may be used. I stepped closer. That's for Wednesday? He tilted the screen so it flashed in the last light. Says so. Might be a crowd. Good, I said, and meant it. Truth carries better in air. He nodded but didn't meet my eyes. The phone's glare faded. His mouth kept a careful line. Take care, Colonel. I do, I said. Across the street, Amanda and Tyler hovered by the curb with the glow of their own screens on their faces. Tyler spoke without looking up. You really want strangers listening to your situation? Strangers heard your edited clip, I said. They can hear the record. Wildfires came soft and public. Dad, this is becoming a spectacle. Privacy didn't keep you from posting lies, I answered. Accuracy will. Faze smiled without warmth. Witnesses get shy when they realize the room might be full. Then good witnesses get brave. He shrugged and drifted a step closer to Joy's place. Let's see. I crossed to Joy's porch, thumb rubbing the worn nick on my challenge coin. The porch light clicked on with the timing of a stage cue. Joy's curtain fluttered, then stilled. Joy, I said, keeping my hands easy at my sides. Quick word? Jailed the door halfway, screen between us. Her eyes were tired. Someone had told her to be careful and she was obeying. "Colonel," she said, voice small. "Now's not great. I'll keep it tight. Wednesday, if asked, will you say what your mic picked up? Just your own words. You don't have to bring a thing." Behind me, shoe soles whispered on concrete, people pretending to pass by. Joy's grip tightened on the edge of the door. I can't be involved." "You already were," Tyler called from the sidewalk. Cheerful poison. "Neighborhood peace, right?" I didn't turn to him. "Joy, it's one line of truth. You offered it." Her eyes flicked past me toward Amanda, who stood with her phone at her chest like a hymn book. "I didn't realize how big it'd get," Joy said. "The HOA posted about disputes, and I have kids sleeping. I'll text one word, front, if APS shows," I said. "That's all I'll ask. Stand on your sidewalk and say what you heard, then go back inside." Her mouth trembled. "They said people will film. I don't want my face on someone's feed." "Your voice is enough," I said. "Stand just inside your door." Tyler laughed, coaching a witness on the porch, very courtly. I let my arm drop to my side. The coin slipped from my palm, hit the rail, and clinked onto the concrete step. Round metal on stone, like a bell cut short. I didn't flinch. "Joy," I said, quiet, "I don't need you for me. I need you for the idea that neighbors still tell the truth." She looked at me so long I thought the hinge would rust in place. Then she shook her head. "I can't. I'm sorry." Behind the screen, her other hand reached for the latch. Amanda's voice slid in. "Dad, please don't pressure people. It's not stable." I turned finally and met her eyes. Stability is telling the same story out loud that you tell online. Tyler stepped half onto the grass. "You're making a scene." "Scenes are for guests," I said. "Records are for adults." A couple with a terrier slowed, then sped up. The terrier's tags jingled like a nervous metronome. Joy swallowed. Her shoulders made a small, private collapse. "I can't be involved," she said again, louder this time, made for neighbors. "Please go." The latch snapped. The door did not slam. It closed with the final smugness of things that prefer silence to courage. I bent, picked up the coin, and held it a second longer than I needed to before pocketing it. On the sidewalk, Tyler's grin widened as if he'd been practicing. Amanda looked anywhere but at me. A jogger passed, headphones in, eyes elsewhere. The block had the tight feeling of a room where no one wanted to admit they were eavesdropping. I haven't held a line alone, but it's colder work. I turned to go. The phone in my pocket pinged and lit my thigh. "Hearing in 2 days. Wednesday, June 12th, 10 a.m. I let the alert glow against the fabric and walked home without looking back. The knock was polite, which somehow made it worse. I opened the door to Investigator Hayes and a colleague I didn't know. Wind pushed dust along the curb like it had somewhere to be. Across the street, a teenager angled a phone chest high, pretending to check messages while the lens peeped over the case. "Mr. Dalton," Hayes said. "Unannounced home visit. May we come in?" "You may." I stepped back, kept my hands visible. The challenge coin slid in my palm. When I shifted, it slipped, scuffed the concrete, and rang once before I pocketed it like an anchor. My house turned into a stage I never booked. "We'll observe basic safety and routine," the colleague said. "Kitchen, medication, bills, quick checks." Understood. They moved with the quiet efficiency of people used to hearing their names in angry tones. Hayes glanced at the stove knobs, the sink dry, the counters clear. "Any hazards you're aware of?" she asked. "Only reputational," I said, and let a corner of it pass for humor. "Discharged? Fridge?" the colleague asked. I opened it. Milk dated the right direction, leftovers labeled in thick pen. "2 vitamins on the counter," I said. "No prescriptions." Hayes nodded. "Ledger?" "In the desk," I said. "Weekly signature. You can look at the shape of it. I'm not handing over account numbers without a subpoena." "The shape is sufficient," she said. "Tyler's the sidewalk." Tyler's voice lifted just enough. "We asked for help because we love him." Amanda followed with a tremor practiced for audiences. "We're just worried." "Your concern comes with a camera," I said without raising my voice, eyes still on Hayes. The teen across the street shifted stance. The phone's mic hissed in the evening wind. Hayes glanced toward the door glass where their reflections made a puppet show. "We evaluate what we see," she said, neutral. "Not commentary." "Good," I said. We moved to the desk. I slid open the drawer, set the paper ledger where she could read the weak columns, but not the codes. She traced the signed lines with her eyes, not her finger, then looked up. "You're particular," she said. "Command makes habits," I answered. She asked me to walk her through my morning again, route, laps. I did. The colleague noted the distance on a small pad. A shadow slid over the threshold. Joy stood behind her screen, 2 doors down, hand on the latch, not moving it. The teen's phone angled a hair higher. Poisoning called, bright as a game show host. "Dad, it's okay to take a break, let them help." "Unacceptable exampling," I said, still to Hayes. "I'm also not surrendering to a narrative." Hayes glanced at a plant by the window. "Do you have support if needed?" "I have friends who respect records," I said, "and I make my bed." She almost smiled, almost. Bathroom, strengthening down the hall. Towels squared, toothbrush standing. My life looked like a checklist because I'd made it one, alphabetical to the entry. The wind carried the word unstable from somewhere it thought was safe. It wasn't said for me, it was said for the block. Amanda tried a soft appeal. "Dad, this is privacy. We can handle it within the family." "You posted it beyond the family," I said. "Now we tell the truth where truth was taken." Homa lifted his phone a fraction, that angle men use when they want a clip without a conscience. "This is for our records," he said, syrup sincere. "Your records are missing footage," I said. Hayes' colleague cleared his throat. "We have what we need for today," nodded. "Mr. Dalton, you are composed, oriented, and cooperative. We'll include this observation in the review. We cannot discuss recommendations before the hearing." "I don't need spoilers," I said. "I need the room where records count." Uffling. On the sidewalk, the teen lowered their phone as if the show had ended. Joy's screen door didn't open. Hayes offered a card. I let it rest on my palm and then set it on the hall table without looking at the print. "No doc beats today, just damage." Amanda tried one more line. "We only want what's best." "Then stop performing it," I said. She swallowed. Tyler's smile thinned. Hayes and her colleague stepped out. The evening had edged toward gold. Everything looked honest and cruel under it. We stood like figures in a window display, me in the doorway, them at the curb, pretending they hadn't arranged the glass. "We'll be in touch," Hayes said. "Your hearing is trimmed." "Tomorrow," I said. "I know." They left without fuss. The team looked disappointed to discover a man being boring and steady wasn't good television. The block exhaled. Inside, I leaned the back of my knuckles against the cool of the door. My phone lit in my pocket. The challenge coin warmed in my palm until I set it flat on my knee, a weight that kept my leg from bouncing. The hearing officer adjusted a mic. "No recordings in the gallery, only the court system's feed," she said. A ripple of pockets accepting phones. Amanda and Tyler sat at the far table. He had his nice boy smile on. She looked at the floor. "Petition review," regard the officer said. "We'll hear from the reporting parties and the respondent, then view submit." I kept my eyes forward. "We'll take witnesses," the officer said. Marcus rose from the second row. "Marcus Lee, U.S. Army, retired. I saw the photos online. He wasn't invited. He's steady. If you want morning routine, he walks past my place at 0630 like a metronome." "Thank you." The officer turned. "Reverend?" Pastor Elena stepped to the side mic. "Our bulletin wrongly stated Mr. Dalton declined." That line came from Amanda. "A correction runs Sunday under my name." She glanced once at Amanda, then back to the bench. The room shifted. Paper rustled. A throat cleared. "Exhibits," the officer said. "Play the porch footage." The screen dropped. The video filled it. My steps, Tyler's stance on the edge of frame, the timestamp overlay steady in the corner. We watched 20 quiet minutes of him needling and me breathing through it. The room heard the patience. It heard the bait. It heard the end where I barked, ugly, brief, true, and then the door closing. Officer lifted a hand. "Pause." She looked at me. Do you assert this is an unaltered export? Yes. Affidavit on file. A neighbor's porch mic overlaps. A dog bark here. I pointed without touching the screen. And a truck door there. We time matched. Voice, Joy, not loud, just carrying. That bark is mine. Dalton presented coherent, corroborated evidence. The petition is denied. A beat. Additionally, this panel refers the matter of a potentially false report to the city attorney for review. The room exhaled like someone had opened a valve. A veteran in the third row nodded once, a small salute. Marcus kept his eyes. Tom Marcus caught my shoulder. You held, he said. I had help, I answered. Pastor touched my sleeve. Sunday the correction runs. I'll keep the doors open. Joy passed by on a side aisle, eyes red from pressure, not tears. I should have said it sooner, she whispered. You said it when it counted, I told her. Amanda stopped 2 paces away, phone in her hand like a thing she finally didn't need. Dad, she said, voice small. I'm sorry. Outside, Summer leaned on the plaza. I let the sun have my shoulders for a minute, then headed home to finish the work that winds don't complete. Neighbor. That's sufficient, thank you. Longer inductions and night. Mackle Drive assists at Concord a calendar ping. Attorney follow-up 14 days, 9 a.m. The chime tucked itself into my future like a post-it on time. The group thread buzzed once, then twice. Amanda, I'm sorry for what I did to your name, Dad. Distrust, I accept the apology. New terms. I stopped at the vet's hall before dinner. The flag line clacked against the pole. Marcus met me at the entrance with a grin that didn't need teeth. File it, then rest. Filed, I said. I didn't need the reminder yet, but I liked the sound of it waiting for me. I closed the binder. The covers met with a quiet thud. Air left the pages and stayed out.